Welcome, listeners, to the Chris Talk Show, where we bring you the news and discuss a wide range of topics that matter to you. The show starts right now. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode. I am your host with the most, Chris Talks. All right, I'd like to welcome everybody joining the show. I hope you're having a good day because I'm having a beautiful one. So I hope you're having a good day. Shout out to everybody that's out there. All right, so let's get into our first and our top story. Is a former pro boxer who is charged with dumping his daughter's body. Y'all believe that? Dumping his daughter's body in a where is this at? In a Staten Island park, and tries to speak out at a hearing. All right, folks, let's get into this story. We're gonna let Sarah, our AI, take over. So this story actually brings us to New York. So let's just get right into it. Sarah, do what you do, baby.
A former professional boxer charged in the murder of his daughter wanted to say something in court Wednesday as his 2019 case approaches jury trial. Kaberi Salem, 55, once dubbed the Egyptian magician, was arrested in 2020 in Kuwait and extradited to the U.S. approximately 1 year after the body of his 25-year-old daughter, Ola Salem, was found by a passerby in Bloomingdale Park. A source at the time said the victim was strangled and died from asphyxiation due to some type of neck compression. Just prior to being escorted out of the courtroom Wednesday, the defendant, a tall man with graying facial hair, wearing designer eyeglasses and orange Rikers-issued scrub pants, surprised his attorneys with a statement. "Can I say something, please?" he asked Justice Alexander Jung, and his attorneys robustly objected. Their client at first ignored the pleas of defense lawyers with the Manhattan-based law offices of Scott Lehman. Again trying to make a statement, Jung instructed the defendant that his lawyers are here to protect your rights. Responded Salem calmly, "Okay. Thank you." The case was adjourned to November 16, to be followed thereafter by a jury trial, barring a plea agreement between the sides. At the time Ola Salem went missing, the father and daughter resided on the 200 block of Deal Court in Rosebank. According to previous reports, multiple residents, who wished to remain anonymous, said they had previously seen police respond to the home, noting some problems at the location, including at least one incident in which they believed Ola Salem was taken away by an ambulance. The NYPD confirmed that officers were called to the home 5 times for reasons including a violation of an order of protection and criminal contempt. In an interview with the New York Times just over a week after the victim's body was discovered, Kaberi Salem claimed his daughter worried about being tailed by another vehicle on the highway. Ola Salem was an advocate for women suffering from domestic violence. Serving as a volunteer, she was so emotionally intelligent, said a co-founder and executive director of the Muslim Women and Families Shelter at the time. She could look at someone and know exactly what they're feeling and know exactly what to say to make that person smile. Kaberi Salem fought for Egypt in the 1992 Olympics, then as a middleweight at the 1996 Atlanta Summer Olympic Games. Over the course of his professional career, he reportedly tallied a dozen knockouts.
All right, folks, this is the part where I give you my view and my opinion. It's obviously let's give a round of applause to the NYPD, if we can, for capturing this person. Now, this is a former boxer, and this case stems from 2019, when this 55-year-old boxer killed his daughter and then tried to hide her in a park in Staten Island. Now, what they don't really explain and tell you is how the body was really located and why they started to look for this young woman. They miss out the part that this young woman was failing to appear at school, and that's what no, at work. I said at school, at work, and this is what really started the worry. on her being missing. It just led back to her father committing such a heinous crime. So we send out our condolences to the family of this young woman, and let's give the bad guy here, give him that bull, and you also gotta hit him. Yes, hit him with the dummy buzzer again, because this was a foolish. But I tell y'all before, there's a lot of foolish and senseless crimes. This is one of those foolish and senseless crimes, killing your daughter over really nothing. Really nothing. Just really nothing. Whatever the situation was, which they don't really get deep into, but whatever the situation was, this is family. You should be able to talk this out. It shouldn't have to lead to you killing your child over whatever it is. 9 times out of 10, because this guy was a washed up boxer, could have been over money. It could have been over disrespect. It could have been him on drugs. And the sad part is that in our society, this happens not as much, but it happens more than you hear about it, because you got to understand that somebody who was an Olympic middleweight champion, okay, you got to understand about the status that this man must have had in 1992, because I mean, come on, when you perform in the Olympics, whether you win or lose, just because you made it to the Olympic team, you're usually given a very, very high, what's this word I'm looking for? Stature, because now you're put into the public eye. And when you are put into the public eye, I mean, we've seen this happen with so many celebrities. And to me, this is just one of those issues of somebody who was a celebrity in 1992 for being on an Olympic team and then winning, because when you win, you automatically become a celebrity. Automatically. I mean, come on, you won. So you're automatically going to be a celebrity. And this person probably faded out and got mad because this, as it explains, this, the police have reported to this resident more than 3 times. It states about 5 or 6 times that the police have responded to this, and this being a domestic situation, and also a restraining order was put there. So we have to boo the court system of New York City and Staten Island, because for this guy to have a restraining order against him, and also for the police to be called to this house so many times for the same reason, I mean, come on. Something was bound to happen. It's sad that it had to go this far to where this young woman had to lose her life. But you had to know something serious was bound to happen. And with the restraining order in place, my question is this: why was this person still allowed to come to this residence? If they wasn't, why wasn't this person arrested and then jailed for violating a restraining order? Because they wasn't, temporarily jailed. But the person still came back to the residence. Why wasn't he jailed again and then held with no bail? And this is the problem to me across the U.S. I mean, some cities, some counties, they have different rules. But in the city of New York, in a domestic violence situation, if you get bail and you can bail out, if you return to the residence, you get rearrested. A lot of times they give you bail again. A lot of times this happens. And in this situation, it ended horribly horrible because this young woman, only 25 years old, I'm sure she was inspiring to do a lot of different things, especially being the daughter of a former Olympic boxer. So I mean, I'm sure she also in a way benefited from her father's status as being an Olympic winner, just an Olympic winner. Period. It don't really matter what you win in the Olympics, but just being an Olympic winner, should be a big deal. It should be. And I also want to shout out and applaud the people, the neighbors that came around to step up and to do something. Because a lot of times, I mean, our neighbors, they don't step up, they don't do nothing, they don't say nothing because they don't want to get involved. But respect to the neighbors that stepped up and did something and got themselves involved to try to prevent this tragedy. I mean, it happened, but at least there was some people around that was trying to prevent this. So again, let's give them another round of applause. I thought that was really cool. But I mean, to me, there's nothing else to say. This guy should have never, as far as I'm concerned, shouldn't receive bail in any shape, form, or fashion after violating the restraining order, just because the police have been called there so many times. Out of the 5 times, it does state that out of the 5 times, the man was jailed twice, but he still returned. His house, he paying the bills, understood. But somebody should have removed themselves from that situation, so that it wouldn't have been so tragic. And that's my view and that's my opinion on that. So bad. These things, they happen. You don't want them to happen, but they do happen. And it's very sad that these things happen. Again, we do send our condolences out to this woman and her family members. They don't state if she have any like kids or anything like that. I mean, which is a good thing. 25, still young. You don't want no babies or too many babies. You know what I mean? All right, folks. All right, yeah. So let's get. Oh, by the way, let's give a shout out to Naya Sips. She's in the house, sitting back on the Silent Island. You know what I mean? So give a shout out to her. She stopped by to check out the show. We gonna pay the bills, but yeah, let's just pay the bills. I wanted to make an announcement before the bills, but we're gonna pay the bills and then we're gonna make the announcement after the bill. It's a big one, y'all. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it, baby. Let's pay them bills. All right, today's pay the bills real quick. If you like this content and want to hear more of it, hit that like, subscribe, and notification button. Also, feel free to leave a comment at the end of the show. All right, folks, we back from the break. All right, back from paying them bills real quick. All right, you guys, check this out. So, Chris Talks is going to be turning into a different station. We have upgraded our station. So, we will either be collaborating with our cousin station, which is going to be called, what was it called again? Unfiltered Truth, hosted Chris Talks. You could check that out. It's going to be put up on YouTube with, our cousin Link. It will be doing about the same thing, but a little bit different. There'll be much more interviews and things like that. You know what I'm saying? If you want to check it out, we will also put the link up and everything like that, and let you guys know exactly when we will be making that change. But for now, let's do what we do the best way. Let's do what we do the best way that we know how. All right, check this out. I was checking. I was second. I said checking. I was second. Our second story is a parents demand the removal of an anti-Israel teacher. This is the teacher, folks. The teacher. The teacher. All right, we're going to get into that story. All right, so we're going to let Sarah AI take over and report this real quick. Let's get into it, y'all. Hit it.
A New York City teacher is back with a vengeance, publicly defending his pro-Hamas, anti-Israel views on X after sparking viral outrage and parent demands for his removal. I stand by everything I said in the same way I continue to stand by the oppressed people whenever I encounter them. Gotham Tech High School teacher Mohammed Jihad Ahmad posted on X Saturday. Free Palestine from so-called Israeli oppression and active genocide. After the post was first to report his inflammatory comments, Ahmad told the World Socialist website on Tuesday, "I think that they needed to paint the boogeyman in the education system. And so they picked me. I think it's also meant to silence me," he said. Last week, Ahmad made headlines when he bashed Israel as a terrorist state and called schools Chancellor David Banks a white supremacist, imperialist scumbag, for his statement condemning the horrific terror attacks by Hamas on October 7. He doubled down on his views when reached by the Post, and then told Fox News that the terrorist attack was a successful military campaign. Ahmad previously claimed the Gotham Tech principal has been supportive, and he does not fear for his job. He said he has become a punching bag, in what the socialist site called a right-wing witch hunt against the Palestinian educator. Despite the harassment of my workplace to terminate my employment and the harassment and death threats by hateful white people, every single one of the many hate messages and death threats I got was from a white person. I'm protected by the UFT and my rights as an American too. Mohammed Jihad Ahmad, October 21, 2023. On Saturday, Ahmad claimed on X that he has received death threats from hateful white people, but boasted, "I'm protected by the UFT and my rights as an American to speak out against injustice." He also thanked family, friends, peers, students, colleagues, and union representatives, but not the UFT at large, who reached out to support me. An homage to the Hamas terrorists who parachuted into an Israeli music festival and slaughtered more than 260 people was previously displayed on his Facebook page but has since been changed to simply say, "I stand with Palestine." Parents have complained to school leaders, saying the issue has drawn negative attention to the Long Island City School, and some are pleading for their kids to be removed from his class. Kids are already affected by his poison, Gotham Tech parent Carla Rodriguez said at a PTA meeting on Thursday. He applauds terrorism and violence. Rodriguez said parents feel disrespected and dismissed by the school's silence on the issue. Questions poured into the Zoom chat, but Principal Cheryl Ann Gill and PTA President Carla Jacome ignored them until the very end.
All right, let's dig into this. Y'all know what I'm about to do. Y'all know what I am about to do. All right. First, let's give him the dummy. Can we boo him? And can we hit him with the bruh? Yes. What the are you thinking? What the is anybody in that school thinking? Like, do you really support this teacher? Do you really support this teacher? Now, let me tell you something. I remember this. I remember this very vaguely. I remember it somewhat, but I remember there was a teacher. Well, was it a teacher? I know it was this. Somebody of melanin spoke out against a war and was bashed for it. Completely bashed for it. Now, speaking out and trying to support your people, try to support your people is one thing. Okay? Supporting a genocide is something different. Now, I said it before. I'll say it again. This war, as the war in Ukraine, and if you don't like it, you hit me up in the comments and you let me know what you think. I do not support any of these wars because we are interfering in conflict that has nothing to do with us. Thus, we don't need to be there. If Israel, okay, has one of, and I think they're in the top 15 of armies, then why are we there? Why are we there? For y'all who don't know, let me give you a quick history lesson. Okay, Israel, okay, back in its day, back in the early 90s, but Israel had a war. Israel fought against 3 of its neighboring countries and won. 3 of them and won. And fought within their island to give that land. I said island. Fought within their land to give their land to the Palestinians, whatever you want to call them. That's how they got their land. If you don't know, you can go on YouTube where this show will be aired, and you can check that out too. If you want to dig into the history of it, or you could be like normal people and go read up on it and find out the history of this war. This war is not a war that America should be in. And the reason why we should not be in this war is because this is a biblical war. This is a religious war. This is a war that has nothing to do with us. Nothing. No more should we be in Israel than we should be helping Ukraine. We shouldn't be in these wars. We shouldn't be. Now, that's one side of the bucket. Like I tell y'all, I tell all my listeners, I speak on a two-headed coin. Should we help these people in a way? And I know some of y'all going to say I'm contradicting. But like I said, I speak with a two-headed coin. I try to give you both views. Should we help these people in a way? Yes. Why? Because Iran is supporting these terrorist organizations. They're supporting them. Now, if you think for 1 second that on the east, these terrorists will stop, no, they won't. Hitler has proven that. Back in the days, Hitler, on the other side of the globe, or what we call the globe, I refer to it the Fairmont, but as we call the globe, you people know as the globe, Hitler tried to take over the entire world. The entire world. One thing we can say about our people on the other side of the earth is that this is what they continuously try to do. And this is what I can say, the golden goal of all terrorists is to go against and destroy anything that is not of them. These people, these Hamas people, I can't say that I'm with them. I understand what they're going through, but I cannot say that I'm with them. I can understand that they feel that their land was taken from them, which, when you go back, kind of sort of was. But to me, the war and the beef is not with Israel. the war and the beef should be with the British, because these are the people. And I'm not trying to start no. Please understand this, people. For anybody to take this out of context, I'm not trying to start no beef up with anything or nothing. When you go back and you look in the history, okay, when you look at the history of how Israel was formed, okay, the British had their part in it, okay? And the British, at that time, they were corrupt when they did what they did. They were. They were very corrupt. If you go look at the history of it. Now, I'm not going to tell you where to go. Well, I'm not going to tell you how to do it. I'll give you a little sense of direction, which was, like I told you, YouTube. But this war is a biblical war, and this is a war that we probably should not be involved in. But at the same time, what Biden is doing, I think is sort of right. Because what he's doing is forming a parameter to where these two countries, where these well, I could say these two different religions are clashing, but he's not trying to put himself or this country into the war. But at the same time, our presence is creating that war. It's creating it, and it's because they're the faces behind it. They are afraid. They are afraid that we're there. The only thing we're there, dude, is to make sure other countries don't interfere and get our people out. That's what the mainstream media is telling you that we're there to do. But when you look deeper into it, and that's, to my listeners, this is where that two-faced coin come at. We're not just there to get Americans out and send aid. We're not just there to do that. I mean, come on. Y'all know we're there to do much, much more. Not going to air it out because I don't want to get cut off. But y'all know that we're there to do much, much more. America is the only country that tries to police the entire world. We're the only ones. Yet, and I want y'all to understand this, we're the only ones that do that. And to all my listeners that's sitting there and supporting that, shame on you. I would say shame on you. Because the only thing you're doing is helping our country go downhill. Inflation, we don't even need to go into a whole thing about inflation. You live in this country. You know where it's at. Why do you think these things are coming? Why do you think this is coming? We just got out of a 20-year war. And now we're supporting, quote unquote, 2 wars. How does that work out for the American people? How does that balance the books? How does it? You tell me. Because every American is feeling the effect of us interfering in 2 wars that we should not be interfering in. Now, given you're afraid that the terrorism is going to spread, I mean, I understand that part. I said it earlier, I'll say it again. I understand that part. But the people of America, they have become a damn factory to support and supply other countries with weapons to fight their wars. And we're sitting here like what? We're sitting here like what? When 20% of America's defenses is out helping other wars. Where does that leave us? Where does it leave us? And I want y'all to really think about that, listeners, because you know what? The other superpower, guess what? China, guess they ain't sending no warriors out. They not sending no soldiers out. They sending maybe some supplies, but they're not sending no soldiers to go help and aid in these wars. So you gotta think about that. We're sending our military force to go help these people, but we're leaving ourselves open for attack. One of Biden, one of the reports that he did, and he had said and stated that he had spoke to the president of Israel, and they had stated that for Israel, or that day, I think it was October 7th, was the equivalent of our September 11th. Okay, now people, after September 11th, how many nations came to help us? I'm not saying that we shouldn't go help the other nations. I'm just saying we need to be careful with how we help these other nations. How much supplies that we're sending them. How much weapons that we're sending them. How much food that we're sending them. How much so-called humane aid that we're giving them. Because we're giving humane aid to these countries yet. Homelessness is still at its highest. We're still walking around with homeless people. We just got a flood of so-called migrants into this country, yet we are giving trillions of dollars to other countries to help them aid in a war. When we have a war at home, do you understand what I'm saying? To all my Democrat voters, let's give them the applause, please. We would like to thank all our Democratic voters for helping inflation, for helping the aid of higher taxes, for helping the aid of voting and putting someone in office. And also, let's not forget our elites, our top people, our elites, and the mother, what was it? The mother Aluma Party for putting this person in this position to make these decisions and damn near bury this country and put us in debt. And that's my view. And that's my opinion on that. It makes no sense for us to be in these places, to be fighting these damn wars. And then these wars in situations like this with this teacher who needs to be immediately fired, whether it don't matter what side that you're supporting. You are supporting a war. Period. In war, there are casualties. So it don't matter which side the casualties are, both sides lose. These are human beings that are being killed every single day. And you are supporting it. Yeah, the people, they attack them. Invade the country, go and get them. The innocent people, excuse me, the innocent people in that country should not be sitting there suffering like that. They shouldn't. And at the same time, I would say to the innocent people in there, when it happens and they run through, y'all need to be telling them where these people are. If you're so afraid of Hamas, give up Hamas. Because some people think Hamas is doing good. Some people think Hamas is doing bad. But we have to understand as a people that this particular group of people, and I'm not saying all Palestinians are evil. They're not. All Palestinians are not bad. None, just this group, but this group seeks on destroying, not destroying. Let me take that word back. Obliterating Jewish people, obliterating human beings because of a religion. Now, we've seen this before. We've seen this before. We didn't get the reaction in slavery, but we've seen this before. And we've seen this type of genocide happen repeatedly. It happened with the Indians. It happened with the African Americans. It happened with the Jews before. And we are seeing this happen in our modern day, in our modern time. Happen. Should Hamas be eliminated? I don't know. What do you think? Hit me up in the comments. Let me know. That is my question of the day. Do you think Hamas should be eliminated, folks? I gave you my view. I gave you my opinion. You let me know what you think on this particular episode. As I pretty much through it. I'm not going to read any comments on this episode. I don't think this is a comment proposal right now. I'm just upset that this whole war, period, is happening. It should not be happening. It should end completely. Those who are in power should stop this, but those who are in power are not going to stop this, because the war stops, the money stops. If it's one thing I learned in this world, is that the rich want to be richer, and people with power only want more power. All right, folks. I want to thank y'all. Listen, keep your head up, keep your eyes open, because this war has somewhat come to this country, and it has come to many different counties and many different states. So my advice to you people is to stay safe and be cool. Let's get up out here, hit that outro, and I'll see y'all later. I want to thank all my listeners for tuning in. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you are here with me, and I appreciate that. I also want to thank my guests for coming by. Until next episode, stay blessed and not stressed. Peace out.